In this video, I'm going to demonstrate some of the basic stances for Taekwondo as we teach them in our program. First stance I'm going to show you is one called attention stance, or chariot sogi in Korean. It's typically invoked just before bowing and from a relaxed position. During training, you'll simply hear the command chariot, at which time we'll transition from our relaxed position into attention stance by drawing the left leg into the right while we firmly place our hands to our sides of our hip. At this point, we're looking straight ahead with as little movement as possible while we await the next command. From behind, you'll see my left leg draws into the right, and the hands that were previously behind my back come out to the sides and are firmly planted to the sides of my hip. As you can see from the side view, my back and head are straight, and I'm holding myself as stiff as a board. A large percentage of the time, a bow occurs from some sort of an attention stance. In traditional training, a student will typically draw themselves into an attention stance just before bowing to the training area they're entering in, an instructor, a group, or even a fellow student. So 15 degrees forward, eyes straight ahead, looking at that group or person, and rising back up. From the side, you can see I'm not tilting forward very much, and I'm rising right back up and staying in my attention stance. The next stance I'm going to show you is ready stance. And during training, you'll hear the command 준비, signaling you to enter your ready stance. Now this stance is different for traditional training versus Olympic style training. The first one I'm going to show you is for traditional training. Usually, ready stance is executed right after bowing and from an attention stance. In the traditional context, we do this by picking up the left foot and bringing it back out to the position it was earlier when we were in a relaxed position, roughly shoulder width. As we bring our foot outward, we're going to release our hands from our hip and simultaneously draw them up as if we're pulling energy from below us. As soon as our foot hits the ground, we shoot our hands in front with fists and slightly bent elbows, and at the same time give a loud key up. So from the whole procedure, attention stance, we draw up, hands are coming up, shoot them out, looking straight ahead with as little movement as possible. From the side, you'll see that my left leg comes out, hands release, I draw them up, step out, and from the back view, you can see the left foot comes up and goes out to the left, simultaneously planting on the ground with a loud key up. This is our fighting stance, and we're going to transition into it by bringing our dominant leg back and drawing our hands up to protect ourselves. I'm right dominant, so I'm going to bring my right leg back and my hands up to protect myself. Now notice I'm not completely sideways on what we call bladed, or at a 45-degree angle to my target. Hands are up to protect my upper section and my midsection, and they're positioned to the point where I can protect my low section equally as good. Now my back foot is not turned out, it's not turned all the way forward, it's pretty much at a 45-degree angle. This gives me the best ability to move side to side very efficiently. From the side view, you can see my right leg moving back, hands coming up, moving into my fighting stance. Now, usually when you go into a fighting stance, you're just about ready to spar. So we try to encourage everyone to give a loud key up right when they go into their fighting stance.
For horse stance, starting with your feet together and your feet facing straight, you're going to spread your feet apart so that there's a distance of 2 of your own foot size in between. So from here, this is 1, 2, turn your foot straight. From here, you're going to bend your knees so that they bend over your feet, and make sure your weight is centered in between both of your legs. One common mistake I tend to see in horse stance is that the knees are caving in like this. So make sure your knees bend directly over your feet. Another common mistake I tend to see is students want to bend down a lot, so this causes their butt to stick out. You want your back and posture to be well aligned, so think about pushing your hips forward and think about standing up super tall.
준비. 주춤 서. 몸통 지르기. 얼굴 지르기. 두 번 지르기. 세 번 지르기. 아래 맞기. 몸통 맞기. 얼굴 맞기.
Outside block. All right, so for the outside block, we're going to have our preparatory hand again and our execution hand. Very similar to the high block. So we're going to have our hand, preparatory hand, same position as the high block on the shoulder, and then the execution hand, same position as the high block again on the belt. From this position, the preparatory hand is going to go from this position back to its original position here. Execution hand, from this position here on the belt, is going to rotate out and then block to the outside. Okay, this is going to rotate out, block to the outside. You want your fist placement, pretty much, you want to draw a direct line from your shoulder height and pretty much lateral spatial area here, straight out. Okay, you don't want to go past the shoulder over here, or you don't want to go inside the shoulder, you want to go above, pretty much right in front of the shoulder. So, from this position here, rotate out. When you switch to the other hand, you're going to turn this hand, which was the execution hand, turn this into the preparatory hand, so the hand goes to the shoulder, other hand goes to the belt, and then rotate out. Okay, switch again, rotate out. Switch again, rotate out. Real time, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Outside block.
Basic chagi techniques. Up chagi. Pull the kicking leg up, bent toward the chest. Then straighten the leg and extend forward. The movement of the foot should be in a straightened line toward the target. Strike the target with the front of the foot. With the toes bent, the targets are groin, abdomen, solar plexus, and shin. Rebound and pull back the foot after kicking and return to the original position. However, at times, the foot can be placed at a different place. 돌려차기. Put your weight on the pivot leg in front. Bend the knee of the kicking leg. Then, while turning the waist, straighten the leg and turn the foot horizontally and strike the target with the front of the foot. The supporting leg must have a knee locked so that the body will pivot easily and the kicking leg should stop at the target. 옆차기. As an upchagi, bend the knee and raise the leg. Turn in the opposite direction of the kick, turn body, and straighten the leg to strike the target with the foot, blade, or heel. At the moment of kick, turn the body as if the pelvis is falling. Then turn the head to look at the target.